good to go. Hopefully we're all doing okay. Just thought I would jump on and talk to you about whether fear is real or not. So we'll just get a quick drink and then we'll dive in. So if you're watching live, make sure you say hi, let me know that you're here, and we'll dive in. Alright, so we've got Charles joining us straight away. That's awesome. 2 more people apparently, but it doesn't tell me that we're coming on. Hi Ruth, you alright? Got Anna as well. Cool. Alright, so the idea that I wanted to talk about is whether fear is real or not. Now, fear is something that a lot of people experience. A lot of people have different experiences about whether fear is actually happening to them or they can't control it or all those sorts of things. Hi Naomi, you alright? Good to see you. And if you really think about it, fear is something that causes a reaction in us. So fear shows up and we do whatever it takes to get away from it. It's something that causes us to do things that we wouldn't normally do, say things that we wouldn't normally say if we were in the right frame of mind, okay? If we were our best selves, we probably wouldn't do a lot of the things that we would do when fear shows up. But after it shows up, we react. We do something without much thought and we do whatever it takes. Alright? One of the analogies that I do like to use is if you're trying to cross the road, right? So you're crossing the road and a car is shooting down towards you, clearly speeding because you look and it wasn't there. The next minute it is there and you dive away from the car to get away from it, right? And that's it. So fear kicked in and you dive out the way of the car, right? So we've got Costas as well. Nice to see you. But what you don't realise is that you've also knocked someone over that was carrying shopping home, right? So you dive away from the car, so fear's gone, yeah, let's go, bang, you jump away, but there's someone next to you that was waiting patiently on the side of the road with shopping and you knocked them over or you caused them to drop the bags. So fear doesn't have this social element. Fear doesn't really care much for consequences of their actions as long as you're safe. So in that sense, fear is very much survival based. Fear is our way of saying, am I safe or not? Do whatever it takes so that I feel okay again, that I feel right again, that I feel like I am safe again. So in the analogy, the car was the threat, we dove away and we saved ourselves, but then we got to deal with the consequence afterwards, which is we've got this woman or man that now hates us for causing them to drop all their shopping. But fear doesn't deal with that. If we think too long, we'd get hit by the car. If we had to think too long, we would get hit by the car. So fear causes reactions. Fear causes us to do things that are faster. So it causes us to elevate our heart rate. It causes us to breathing rate increases. Everything just primed for taking action towards something or away from something. Okay, it's a physiological effect on us that helps us become safe again. All right. Now, the idea behind whether it's real or not is this social aspect. Okay, we very rarely nowadays at least have massive threats to our survival. All right, it's not something that is commonplace as much as it was many years ago. So what happens now is we've evolved clearly, but we've also evolved our brains as well to involve other people. So we become more social animals as we've evolved, which means that if you think long enough, your brain starts to then think about the consequences of its actions. So you wouldn't dive that particular direction because there's a woman there with shopping. You would dive the other way, right? Away from people and the car, so that not only are you safe, but you've not had to then deal with the consequences of your actions. And it all brings in this whole cascade of why do we do what we do? Is it really fear that shows up? Because if it's not a threat to our survival, then chances are it's not actually fear. It's more of a social thing. So have a think about what you're feeling often, right? Whether it be in your business or in your life that affects your business as well. And think to yourself, well, if it involves other people and it's not directly affecting our survival, then chances are it's more of a panic, or because even things like depression and anxiety as well, that all involves other people, where fear is something that is across all creatures essentially, because all of us have inbuilt reactions that cause us to move away from something that's threatening our survival. Everyone has it, but the social aspect is what separates it. The social aspect is what causes us to have different responses from person to person. Alright? Fear is something that is a common thread throughout all of us, where things like, well, I wouldn't say fear, but like nerves or being anxious. Like some people can do things that you would feel nervous about, but they won't. So this is where the differing thing comes in. This is where why are they able to do it? Why aren't they nervous? Why aren't they as anxious as me? Alright, so very often we actually label things as fear as a way of saying, well, there's nothing I can do about it. But that doesn't mean that fear doesn't exist, but you've got to put it in context. You've got to actually put it in the situation and then decide what the feeling is. Because feelings are just feelings, emotions are just emotions. We feel them all the time, it's always changing, but it's based on the environment and the context that we're in. So you need to take that into account when you're actually deciding on what you're actually feeling. And chances are, if it's involving other people, groups of people, different scenarios, it's not the more threatening to my survival type fear thing. It's more of a panic, I guess. Panic is one of the overarching emotions that we do feel, and that is something that we do also experience, right? So we've got Courtney as well. Hi Courtney, you alright? Good to see you. So when you take all of this into account, we go back to the initial question, is fear real? And the question is yes, but it doesn't change the fact that you might not actually be experiencing it. People use fear because it's an easy word to use. That doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, it doesn't happen, but it also doesn't mean that it always happens or you're currently experiencing it based on what environment you're in, alright, how you spend your time. So that is one of the things that I just wanted to think about, just wanted to get across. If becoming this more fearless entrepreneur that I know that you want to be more confident in yourself and confident in your abilities to do the things that you know that you should do but you're not doing, my Facebook group, that there's a link in the comments, is the Confident and Fearless Entrepreneur. So, or Fearless and Confident, I sometimes get those two mixed up. So if you click the link in the comment in the description for the video, it'll take you to my Facebook group. There's a whole host of different things in there that are all to do with the mental state of you. Alright, so we do have a lot of things in common that are based on emotions, that are based on mindset and all those kinds of things. That's what my Facebook group is all about. We have Scott and Jane joining as well. That's awesome. You seem to be jumping on quite a few of these. So click the link if you want to join the Facebook group. If not, that's okay as well. But what I thought I'd do something a bit differently here is open it out to you. So if you have any questions that you want to ask me, this can be almost like an AMA type thing, right? You can ask me anything, either about fear or something mindset related. So I can be on for quite a while now. I don't have a lot to do after this, so more than happy to stay on and answer any questions. Can we categorize fear, Ruth asks. And I think you can, because it's the one thing that's like throughout all of us. It's the only common theme that a lot of us have. So if it was under a category, it's something that's ingrained into us. It's built into how we've evolved. I would probably categorize it as something that causes a reaction. All right, something that causes an unconscious reaction to get away from it. So it's almost like you do something to deal with the emotion rather than dealing with the situation. Right, it's probably the clearest way of putting it. How can we fight fear? I think as well, like fighting it can actually be the worst thing you can do, because if you feel it and you become completely overwhelmed by it, you're actually experiencing the result of the emotion. So by that time, at that point, right, if you imagine like a timeline of feeling the fear, having the reaction to it, and then having to come up with the solution, right? You're already experiencing the overwhelmed side of it. You're experiencing the result of the emotion. Or you're actually experiencing the reaction itself. Alright, so when you think about it, there's nothing that you can do at that point, but fighting it could be your way of maybe almost hating yourself for doing it. I know I've been guilty of that once or twice. Like feeling bad because you feel bad, right? Or being completely depressed maybe because you felt fear too often and you've not had anything to, you can't do anything about it. We've got Liam as well. Hi Liam, you alright? Good to see you. So if you think about all those things, it's almost too late once you start experiencing that. All you can do is try to go through it as smoothly as possible, and then next time, that is where the strategy comes in. So what you do is you think that it could happen again. You think that I'm going to feel fear again. I'm going to feel it again, and I'm going to try to prevent it next time, or I'm going to handle it better next time. All right, because by the time you're feeling it, it's already there, and there's not a lot you can do about it then, apart from think about what you can do next time. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. Not seeing any other comments, not seeing any other people asking questions, so hopefully you've enjoyed this one. Make sure you join the Facebook group if you are someone that runs their own business, or you're an entrepreneur that wants to be more confident and more fearless and take more action and more positive action towards growing the business, and maybe even changing things, taking the action that you know that you should probably be taking. So hopefully you've enjoyed this one, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.